Hello everybody and welcome to another video on how to implement Daggerheart into Roll20. This is a slightly different take on how to create adversaries within Roll20 while we wait for demi-plane integration. This feature uses an API that I have built that pulls information in a JSON format from a handout that you have created and then compiles it all into an actual token. So I will show you the template, how it works, and then also I will then show you a already pre-built individual here. Or actually, no, you know what? We'll build one together, and then I will show you it actually working in real time. So, what this API does, it requires the information to be in the GM notes section of a handout, and then it also requires it to be labeled as an adversary, and then whatever you want the adversary to be called. So we are going to duplicate this. Duplicate. I'm going to save it here. I'm going to put it here. And we are then going to edit this. So what we're going to do is we'll delete this adversary template. We're going to call this Big Ogre Boy. Or we're going to call this a Big Boy Ogre. Ogre is O-G-R-E. There we go. So, here we go. So, anytime it says words or number, this enables me to then double click that information, then type over it, and makes it fairly easy to work out where you need to place actual information. So, we're going to get this words, and we're going to call this the Big Boy Ogre. It's HP, let's say 12. Stress, let's say 5. Thresholds, let's say its first damage threshold is 6 and its other is 12. Doesn't have to be perfect here, I'm just showing you how it works. The difficulty, let's call it a 10. It's a big bumbling ogre. Doesn't necessarily need to be hard to hit. Experiences. Let's say one of his experiences is that it's stinky. And we'll put this as a let's say 5. Why not? And then we'll go for another, and we'll call this let's say as the throwing experience, and that's 3. There we go. Now here that you can see we have our attacks label. So this is where we would label our attack. So let's say this attack is, we'll just call it nice and easy. We're going to call it slam. The attack bonus for this is a +5. It's dice string. Let's call it a 1d12. Then for this string here, it should all have been one word, so I'll adjust that in the template before I put it in the Google Drive. We'll say this is a 1d12 +4. Damage type. It's physical. The range. Very close. Now, if I wanted to put another attack in here, all I would do is I would put a comma, 2 returns, and then I would just copy and paste all of this information here and then put it down here, and I can have multiple attacks be populated by the API. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to delete twice here. I'm going to delete this comma, and we are going to go to the features. So same thing for the features. Here you can see that we have our multiple features available to be populated, and they are essentially the same. All they are separated by is this comma here that then indicates to the API that we have a new feature, because it is within the features header here. And all of your features, all of your attacks have to be within this starting and closing parentheses. All right. So we're going to call this feature hammer toss. We're going to say on a successful attack, the big boy ogre briefly grapples its target and swings them around, throwing them to far range. The target marks 1 stress. There we go. And then we'll call this other one stomp. Mark 2 mark 1 stress on the big boy ogre to activate this feature. The ogre stomps the ground repeatedly as it rotates. All creatures within very close range must make an agility reaction roll. Let's call this a difficulty value of 14. Or they take and we're going to make this automated so that when the API calls upon this information, it will convert this properly. So we'll say 2d6, and we're going to put these in a double of square parentheses. So, or they take 2d6 physical damage. There we go. That's all I need to do. Adversary is built. Now, what to do with this information now that this adversary is built? Well, we have a macro here, which is called the adversary builder. So what this does is it calls upon the API, this exclamation mark, build-adv, adv for adversary. And then what I've done here is I've made it so that it questions what the name of that adversary is. So what we're going to do is we'll do our adversary builder. And we're going to call this, we have to exactly the same naming convention as we have put in the template, just after the colon. It will then tell me through a whisper message that it has created a big boy ogre with HP 12, stress 5, threshold 6 and 12, difficulty 10, and it's then reminding me to use the link bars token action to link values, and next step to set this token as the default to retain bar settings. So you can now see here that previously wasn't there, my big boy ogre. Now, when I click on this token, you'll see that I have my experiences, my hammer toss, my slam, and my stomp, and I've got my set bars. So if I set the bars, it sets the bars. So I've got in my green bar, bar 1, I've got my 12 health. In my bar 2, I have the stress of 5. And then in the red, I have my values of my thresholds. And it also has placed the difficulty in the tooltip ready for when I want to toggle it on and off for everybody to see. And then just update the default token. And if I want to remove that set bars button because I no longer need it, right? And just delete that. But it's there, ready and waiting for you to use. You'll then see that this uses exactly the same information from my previous video on creating adversary token actions. So we'll just see these in practice. So let's just do the experiences first. Here you go. Stinky 5, Pro 3. Got my hammer toss. On a successful attack, the big boy ogre briefly grabbles its target and swings them around, throwing them to far range. The target marks 1 stress. I've got my stomp. Mark 1 stress on the big boy ogre to activate this feature. The ogre stomps the ground repeatedly as it rotates. All creatures within very close range must make an agility reaction roll, value 14, or they take 6 physical damage. Now you have my slam. That's a crit in any other system that uses a d20 scaling upwards, but you can see here all of that information ready and waiting to go. Now if I wanted to, for instance, I wanted to just edit this big boy ogre, I decided that, oh, maybe the HP isn't enough, so I want to change it to 20. I can just do this, change the HP to 20. I can then go to my big boy ogre, and I'll make a version of this token that has that new value. See? HP 20. Now I have 2 versions of my big boy ogre. One of them has an HP of 20. Probably not calling upon that information because I'll delete that one. There we go. So you may need to name them ever so slightly different to get that to work, because it won't call upon that information correctly if you have 2 tokens of exactly the same name. But it's fairly easy now to make variants even of the same adversary and then pre-build all of their information, their token actions, with a little bit of typing and a little bit of button pressing. I hope some of you found this video useful. And again, if there are any problems, please comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. I'll still be doing these no matter what, but your appreciation is in itself greatly appreciated. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.